the things that we talked about, and, the numbers will come. But, the whole idea is to play to team football, to have some camaraderie, to play with some spirit. And I think, like I said, that was what I was most proud of.
Is it easier to get guys to buy in on the selflessness when you have a talent like 95?
I don't know. I think that's, that's part of a coach's job. That's part of a player's job. A coach needs to sell his plan and his vision, and he needs to come up with ways to put his players in the best positions. And then when you're doing that, then it's easier for players to buy in. But then players have a responsibility to buy in also. It's a two-way street. I don't know that it, has anything to do with, a certain jersey number or anything else. It's just high school football, pee wee football, NFL, college, playing together, and everybody operating as one, operating efficiently, communicating. Those things are probably below the radar when it comes to people love to talk about the scheme and the chess match and everything else. And, that's important, but that's pretty far down on my list.
The team to lead the league in some intangibles like effort and passion. Did you see enough of that in week one, and how does that translate into week two in another tough division?
Yeah, week one's over with that. I don't know that, week one, it was what it was, I don't know, you say you've seen enough of it. We have 17-game season, and hopefully we play more after that. So our job is to go out and do it every week and to be consistent. And, I think we set a good standard for how we're going to play. And I think it didn't just stand alone. I think, if you saw some of our practices from training camp, you felt some of the same thing. And if you saw our preseason game, I hope you would see the same thing. But, it's just a start. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's Pittsburgh, and this is a huge rivalry, an away game, a primetime game. We'll keep the focus on that and not what happened last week. We want to carry over the effort and the toughness and the swag and the badassery and all those things that we talk about, but that game's over, and our challenge is to do it again this week, because this is a big game for our team, for our franchise, for our city.
Jim, Anthony Walker got hurt a year ago. He said he wasn't sure he'd make it back. So just how glad are you? What has he meant to the whole operation here?
Well, I think it speaks for itself that he's one of our captains. He wasn't part of the whole most of the season last year, wasn't part of most of the off-season program, sporadic in training camp, but he found a way to make his presence felt. He's an experienced player. He's super smart, understands situations. He's a really good communicator, makes life easy for the other guys around him. I'm going to run out of time saying nice things about him. So, but he better practice good today.
What type of problems or challenges does Kenny Pickett present to your defense?
Yeah, he's a guy that people talk about 50-50 balls, but I don't know they're necessarily 50-50 balls with him. He wins probably 70-30 of them, and that's going to be a big challenge for our guys. I think our guys showed the confidence that they can play with on the outside part of the field against some pretty tough characters, and Higgins and Chase. Every week it's a new challenge, and I wouldn't just stop with Pickens. Allen Robinson's an experienced player. Freiermuth, big target for the quarterback. We have a lot of one-on-ones that we have to win, and it's not just going to be just one player one-on-one. We'll have zones, we'll have man, but if we can have a performance like we had last week, and we can be confident on the outside part of the field. Now, that being said, this is the NFL. They're going to make plays, right? Every week's, these guys are really good, and they're going to make plays. The thing that we're going to need to see, and we saw it the one time on Denzel when he got the PI, right? We bounced right back, stopped him right after that, and held him to a field goal on that one. Right, I think that's what it was. Either that or the missed field goal. I can't remember, but there's going to come times they're going to make great catches. That guy's made some insane catches. And he's strong. He's got a good frame. That's going to be a great matchup for fans to watch on Monday night.
Last week you talked about the
importance of tackling after the catch, and it felt like Grant Delpit made a bunch of those, even on some third downs. How impressed were you with what Grant was able to do?
Yeah, I've been watching Grant since college, watched pretty much his whole career. I thought that was probably the best game I've ever seen him play, including college. Those safeties that can make everybody right, they can match up in man, did a great job with his disguise. Him and Rodney, and even Hickman, they did a great job with their disguise. And has the ability to play down low, can play in the deep part of the field. Grant's off to a great start, and I'm excited for where he'll go this year if he keeps it up. But again, one game doesn't make a season. We need to be consistent. We need to keep putting it on tape week after week. But I'm really proud to coach a guy like Grant.
A lot has been made about your comment about not being everyone's cup of tea. We heard Jim Donovan on the broadcast say, "I like tea," and Stefanski say, "He's our cup of tea." How good is that for you? And does that kind of give you the no seatbelts mantra that you're preaching to the defense? And how good does it feel to have that city and the coaching staff behind you to kind
I
of
don't really
unlock?
pay attention a lot to it. I'd say this, I expect players to play with their personality. I don't want to coach robots on the field. I expect them to have personality, and every guy's different. We talked about AWOLK, and he's a little bit different than Miles, and we talked about Grant, and we talked about, all these different guys. Everybody's got a little different personality, and you can't, force feed everybody into those. I am what I am. I embrace it, Sometimes I can ruffle some feathers. Sometimes I can be a little tough, but there's a motive behind it. I've seen a lot of stuff in the NFL, and I have a good idea of what we want to accomplish and what we want to exceed. And sometimes you got to be willing to ruffle a couple feathers to get that out. Our job is to inspire and motivate our players, and there's a lot of different ways to do that. Sometimes it's a pat on the back, sometimes it's a bite in the ass, So, I'm prepared to do whatever it takes to get our players ready to play. And really to let the chips fall. I really, really don't care what's said or written about me.
A while back mentioned the emphasis on within stopping the third down. You guys had 13 of them on Sunday. Even though week one, as you said, has passed, has there been a certain emphasis that you've brought to this unit that ranked 17th at that last season, and we're going to bring that up this season in the weeks to follow?
Yeah, we put a lot of time in. Today, a lot of our stuff is going to be on third down. And, we talk about job of the defense is keeping points down and turning the ball over. And one of the best ways to get off with no points is to get off the field on third down or a fourth down stop. Fourth down stop is a turnover. Turnover on downs, set the offense up for a score, which we did in that game. We'll keep our eye on those things, but red zone stops. We didn't play any red zone snaps, but third down stops. That's extremely important to keeping the points down and keeping your guys fresh. Getting the ball back for the offense. We have a pretty good combination of rush, cover, and some blitz looks and things like that. But again, last week is last week. This week we're starting off 0 for 0 on third down. There's no carryover. Maybe you stats people might, feel like there's carryover or whatever, but this game's fresh. This game's new. We got to do the job this week. It's a big game on Monday night, and I know a little bit about this history from my 3 years here before, and this is a very important game for our defense, for our team, for our organization, and for our city. We got one more minute.
Last one. We all hear about the steel curtain and how great the Pittsburgh defense has been in the past. Obviously, the Browns kind of get mixed up in that and are kind of forgotten about. Do you feel like this Monday night game is a chance for your defense to stake a claim in potentially being the best defense in the NFL?
We don't worry about that. We're trying to be the best we can be on a particular Sunday. We'll let the chips fall where they may after that. They have a great storied history of defense. We have a lot of respect for what they've done and things like that. But none of that is going to mean anything on Monday night. It's going to be the two teams this year. These guys, Let me know if Mean Joe and Jack Lambert are playing, because If we need a plan for Franco Harris or Lynn Swan or John Stallworth or Franco or Terry Bradshaw, we'll get that ready. But those guys aren't playing. This is a new year. So what's happened in the past, that doesn't mean anything to this game. We have respect for them. We always respect our opponents, but we're going to accentuate us and what we do well and try to give our best performance and not worry about the rest of the league or what's happened in the past or, what's going to happen 10 weeks down the road. Let's keep our eyes on today and Monday night. All right, guys. Give a test this way. What's that?
You're up. All right, listen. Whatever. When does he talk is it always this time? It's not, right? Normally it's like it's like Thursday.
No, normally last week it was Friday, or it was Thursday, but after practice.
Yeah, it's
spoke.
usually at he likes to talk after because
he needs to be. We need to talk to the people.
Who are you going to talk to here?
We need this.
Come on,
this is elite content.
That's too good.
Too
good. You can't.
Too good.
Cannot. By the way, welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily. Merely both a great Z.
You got 1 minute.
I want all of that. You got a. He's not walking through that door at the end of that, which was pure joy. That was great. So normally he's Thursday after practice.
The first week he was, but maybe this is a change because this is a normal Thursday, so he could have been after.
How can we?
Today, but he's not.
We need to alert him that he is an audience favorite. That if there's anywhere for him to do a presser between 1 and 3, it would be greatly appreciated.
He just said, though, they just asked him, they said, hey, like on the broadcast, Jim Donovan said he heard you like tea and you're his cup of tea. And he goes, I appreciate it. Hope he feels better. I don't care what people say about me.
Well, of course he does.
He doesn't.
That's all, I think that was abundantly clear.
Yeah,
that was
one of
correct.
my after I interviewed
the whole
him.
Thing, yeah.
After right before I interviewed him for the very first time in this studio, he had just had that press conference that he like crushed.
Yeah,
and everybody was going.
Wasn't it on this show?
I don't think so
because he came on the show.
I did. I was sitting there, so
you were on vacation.
He came on this show though once with us,
just with Nathan.
You sure that wasn't like a video thing or something?
Oh, no, because he sat in the studio and said, I have 10 minutes, and 28 minutes later,
he walked out.
Was still rolling.
Yeah. But I said to him, to start that thing off, I was like, it's a great press conference. I'm like, you won the press conference. He goes, I don't care about winning press conference. I'm here to win football games. I was like, all right, here we go. Okay.
That's what you want. I'll tell you this. His
There we go. See, that's a nice greeting.
That's what I like to see.
That's what I like to see.
There is a developing story here in the building.
Yeah.
We have never, in all of these years, have we ever seen the type of salute that we have gotten now twice from Senior Swag.
I know.
It is not typically a salute that is associated with the idea of us being number one. So I don't know where this is coming from, but we just got a Big L luminary, Big Point, really excited to see us.
Big Point, very excited.
So that was great. You love to see that. But something's going on with Swag that is, I don't know. Do we have a reason to be concerned?
On our group text, I said, middle finger swag gate, hot topic on CBD.
It's a real point of concern.
I'm a little
nervous
taken
about
back
it.
by it.
Yeah.
I just think he's locked in. It's Steelers week.
Can't even think about anything else.
Yeah. It's not to us. It's like to the world.
Like to the
everybody.
World.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. To the world.
We were just in a way. I think if we went like this, like
then
it goes right by.
Went
us.
right through because we from a Big L. It was
Yeah.
We seemed to be very excited to see us.
Absolutely.
On a Football Friday edition. The point I was going to make about Schwartz. It's not just the fact that the scheme marries the talent. It is the attitude. It's Myles Garrett doing a crossover. This is a chesty unit.
Let me tell you something. There is a philosopher named Mike Damone. And you know what he told when his buddy was trying to...
Old reference, lost on
when
young listeners.
he's trying to,
Mike Damone.
He's trying to woo a young lady. He said, it's the attitude, right? The attitude.
I didn't
know I can't
Mike
follow
Damone
that up.
Was Macho Man Randy Savage.
That's what he says, the attitude. And the mustache. Oh, can almost press it in. It's the attitude, right?
Mike Damone. What are you?
The macho. The attitude. Yeah, that's what you need, Brad.
A little bit of that going. So that'll be good. His defense Man, you saw what San Francisco did to Pittsburgh up front, and you feel like you're on their level or close to it. Certainly, you're above their level on the perimeter, even though they have Bosa. You have two like that. They're a little bit better, maybe in the middle of it. But either way, the get home ability ought to be there.
Yes, get home ability should be there. Have we heard definitively?
Look at Fila.
Tequila.
Everybody else
There
is
it is.
thrilled.
Pure joy. Come
Pure
on,
CS.
baby.
It's a
Fist
totally
bumps.
different look with him. With this
I want him
haircut.
back and wild. I want him looking like John C. Reilly when he's that late night professor. That's what I want. I want that back.
Yeah.
No, we should be able to get there. Have we heard definitively anyone if they're making a switch at left tackle? Have they seen enough?
I haven't seen anything
of
from
Dan
him.
Moore Jr.'s Broderick Jones, their first round pick, going to get to make his debut against Miles? Feels like probably not.
Probably not. Wait a week. I don't know what their schedule is beyond that. But
Doesn't matter.
I wouldn't want to think I would want to do
One
that.
game at a time.
Yeah. All right. Before we get out of here on this first segment, lots to get to here on the program, including the scores, which will come later. We're presented by Avocados from Peru today. Stop by Meyer in. Is this one? This one's in. I believe this is in Avon, right?
It's in Avon.
Okay. Okay. So stop by the Meyer in Avon between now and 3 to register for your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning electric truck. Play games, win prizes. Meet Browns legend Kevin Mack. That's from 2 to 3 today.
Huge B.
You just got to sometimes.
Huge B. Small
well, now
U.
that I know that there's potential for this,
You're on
I'm
alert.
I'm on high alert. See, like Papa Burgundy, that wouldn't have happened a second time because he would have known.
He would have known.
Then he
Tedman
would
would have read it.
Huge B, little U. Little U Uno.
Hate to
Sad.
see it. Hate to see it. By the way, one of the funniest. For some reason, I was thinking about this because I use it to describe the Buckeye offense when they play bad teams. You know what? After Burgundy drops that in the teleprompter, and then he comes off, and then Ed comes out and he goes, Ron, I got to fire you. And Burgundy goes, bing bong bong. Or bing bong bong, Ed. I hope I'm going to fire you. They keep going. That's how I used to, like when the Buckeye offense plays like Western Kentucky, I want it to be bing bong bong.
Yeah, bing bong bong.
That's how I want it to go.
I'm going to fire you.
I'm going to fire you, Ed. All right, we have practice today and tomorrow continuing to prep for Pittsburgh. We've got a lot to get to. A little fun on the program as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Elgin Elks Serious Lawyers, Serious Injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO for a free case review. Elgin Elks, proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. Browns with a practice today and tomorrow. In fact, today as I was walking into the building, a referee was walking in right in front of me to probably do
A little practice.
refereeing of the practice. So that was going on today. The Browns are working out veteran safety Eric Harris per Tom Pelissero. Juan Thornhill's health. Where are we with that?
Much better than we were a week ago, and I think there is some optimism that by Monday night he could be ready to go.
That would be great.
Wouldn't it?
Be just great
It's
to see him play.
Be a real treat.
It would be a real treat. By the way, you're
baby.
welcome last night. You're welcome.
All we
What
do.
can we do for you? Just
That's all we do.
put kids through college. Left
That's
and
all
right.
we do. That's all we do.
All right, I got a couple of things.
By
on
the way,
that.
the initial, I hope that this was one that people got in on early on.
Yeah.
Because the initial,
Yep.
when we did guess the lines on Wednesday, First Friday,
Yep.
it was 5.5.
That's right.
You're welcome.
You're
Thursday.
There you go. Just stacking them. What is that?
That's because Thursdays are inverted.
Because they're inverted.
And then that's a winning
But what's
sound.
that noise? Oh, I see. That's like
winning,
like in one of those Vegas money counting machines.
Exactly.
Yeah, I
they're
like
just
that.
spitting out bills.
Spitting them out. Yeah. All right, I got a couple of things to discuss with you on that game.
I can't see him, but I
You
could
still know.
I could feel him wanting to say something mean about me.
Yeah.
And then
even through glass.
Through glass, and by the time I turned around, it was clear that's what had happened, and he had already backed away, and his face was red. I don't know why he didn't say anything. Maybe he couldn't get his mic to work.
He tried.
I feel like
didn't know if his mic
that
was on
feels
or
like
not.
the most likely.
Does your mic work? All right, just shaking his head though. We'll have to.
He's down in the dumps.
I might have to wait.
What's
till
going
the scores.
on? Do we need to do a little Gibbe therapy?
No therapy. Just shaking his head. He's beleaguered.
He's like red.
Look at him back.
He's red-faced and
back.
beleaguered. Look
And
at
he's
that.
on cam.
He is
He's
on cam. It's a good. Oh, this is a good shot.
It's a great shot again.
Good
Right there,
shot.
just peering over.
Look
you.
at him. Ooh, Gibbe.
Oh boy. Two things I wanted to discuss
me
with
going.
you in the game last night. So the fumble out of the end zone play is go ahead.
Get rid of it.
So stupid.
The worst rule.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
It's so
punitive.
dumb. If I fumble
Overly
at the
punitive.
2-yard line and it goes out just in front of the pylon,
Mm-hmm.
I get the ball at the spot of the fumble because you can't fumble at forward as an offense at the 2-yard line.
Correct.
If I fumbled at the 2-yard line, it somehow goes inside the pylon and then goes out. I don't get it at the 2-yard line. Now they get it at the 20.
They get it to 20.
And we all know Hollywood Higgins. That's still for Browns fans. That's for what I mean. Quite frankly, a legitimate case could be made that we should be the 2020 Super Bowl champions.
Valid. True.
It's an absurd rule.
It's
I
crazy.
don't get it. It makes no
I
sense.
wonder how it came. Where did it come from? Like what made them say, yeah, this is how we're going to handle this?
I have no idea. They need to fix it. They need to. That's one.
Such a
it's just
stupid
common
rule.
sense. Right. He fumbled it. It should just be at the spot he fumbled it. They didn't recover it.
No one recovered it.
Nobody recovered it. It was out of bounds.
Out of bounds.
It's absurd. An absurd rule. Yeah, that's number one. It brought up some of the crazy rules and things as I was scrolling through Twitter, and the great Amy Trask, who was the first female executive in the National Football League for Al Davis, the Lady of Darkness. She posted a picture, and I didn't even remember this, from 2009. I posted a video, from 2009. Was that have been Jamarcus Russell in 2009? Is that around his era? Brief as it was.
He was in the same draft as Brady Quinn. So like
07, right?
07 with Joe.
07.
Yeah.
07 draft.
All right, so possible then that by 09 he might have been gone. Anyway, looked like Jamarcus in the very
No,
quick
probably
watching.
was still there.
Okay.
It was a short run, but it was probably still there 3 years in.
He throws a touchdown to Lewis Murphy,
Okay.
who catches it, goes to the ground, gets up, everybody's signaling touchdown, and he throws the ball on the ground to go do a Lambeau leap in Oakland.
Yep.
And they call it incomplete because he didn't finish the catch.
Oh, God, remember that era where you had to finish the catch? Do you remember that?
Do you remember the one Calvin Johnson
Yeah,
caught?
the
He put
Calvin
the ball
Johnson
down
one,
to
put
brace
it
himself?
on the ground. Yeah.
So people called the Calvin Johnson rule, and she was like, actually, this is the Lewis Murphy rule because this was the most absurd thing that's ever happened. The end.
Yeah,
I mean, he caught it and threw the ball down to go celebrate.
Yeah.
And they said they called it, and like it was a full
action.
Well after he'd caught the ball.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So
that
get this stuff right.
That's got to be made right. Real quick on that. And as I say this, I acknowledge that I am certain that the ball was inside the pylon and fumbled out of the end zone.
Yes.
I did not see one replay that showed that conclusively. There was nothing from straight above the pylon.
You didn't think the one that was kind of in the
No,
air?
it was here.
It was, but it
there's no question it was. I believe that it was where
Sure,
it needed to be.
sure.
But in terms of, to me,
I like
like
it.
a
I like
ball going directly inside of pylon, there was never an above angle.
Mm-hmm.
How do they not have cameras in the pylon? Or how do they not have a camera right above there so that type of stuff? It went through the end zone. I acknowledge that physics, that's the way it was
It's
going to
just
go.
done.
But it just was not. There was nothing on replay that I was like 100%. This is
Gotcha.
inside. That's nitpicking. The bigger problem, obviously, is the
rule.
call. The rule is just absurd. All right, a couple other things on this.
Sure.
You called for this yesterday on the show with DeAndre Swift.
I sure did. We're on a little bit of a fantasy heater.
What
by the
is
way.
it with his? What is it that makes people think that that's not who he is?
I have no idea. I
It's
think
so
that's who
crazy.
he is.
So do I. But
do
it's
I
like,
think he is?
It's who he was at Georgia. Like, I don't understand why
Proud
he
of
was in a job share in Detroit. I don't understand why you were giving carries to Gainwell last week. And I don't have any fantasy interest in the guy. He's not on any team I have. Nothing. He's a good player. When he plays and gets carries, he performs. What's the problem? Is he like Wentz and he's a bad dude? Nobody likes him. I
don't think so.
understand
I've
it.
never heard anything bad about him. I think that he,
Why
you know,
does it- why don't-
he
why
had
didn't
got
he get the
injured.
carries?
He was oft injured in Detroit.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's concerns that he's not a workhorse, but the vision, the accelerate, like there is no doubt in my mind they're a better offense with him on the field than they are with him off of it. I mean, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Some of those runs were sensational. And I feel, as somebody who had DeAndre Swift, and now it still worked out over 170 yards and a touchdown, should have had 3. It is like you could see the frustration on the second one when he realized he was down and like a half inch short because he's never going to get the ball again. Like they go into that formation and it is unstoppable. It is an unstoppable play. I hope they get rid of it. I have no problem with quarterback sneaks in general. I think the fact that you're making now this like tight little diamond and you're getting this.
It's a rugby play.
It's not a football play. It's a scrum.
Yeah, it's a rugby play.
Which a sneak in a way kind of is, but you should not be able to the pushing
to catapult a human.
Right.
Okay, so that was the next thing I wanted to discuss.
Good.
The other thing I want to discuss from this is, does Jalen Hurts hogging touchdowns annoy his teammates?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so too.
I mean, DeAndre Swift, when he went down at the 1 inch line on the second one, was visibly upset, and then he went to the back and knew he's like, I just ran us all the way down the field here.
Yep.
And from their standpoint, like, I get it. Like, it's unstoppable.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
like,
right.
Why would we want to turn around and hand the ball off to somebody 5
don't
yards
need to.
behind
We'll
the line
just
of
snap it
scrimmage
and-
when it's as good as being.
yeah.
It's as good as you scoring DeAndre Swift. You won't get the credit for it. Your fantasy owners won't, but you basically scored for us because now that's a touchdown. I mean, they basically play now. They start every possession 1st and 9.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, the way it's being done. So you also saw the interaction with A.J. Brown.
So that was more concerning to me.
Okay, but I think this is all linked.
Okay.
I think it's all linked. I think the hogging of the touchdowns is linked.
Well, he's not calling the plays.
I understand that, but I also think that they're not. It's early, but they're not
clicking.
elite in the pass game by any damn stretch. And he is so quick to scramble,
yes,
and to get out over 17 games. I mean, this is one of the teams that you look at the NFC and you go, yeah, they could be in the Super Bowl. They were in it last year.
Of course.
But the amount of running that he makes horizontally to get vertical is extreme.
Yeah.
And I do wonder if it's like, is this what we're going to be? Like, is this who we are, right? Everybody ate last year. Now everybody wants to eat a little bit more. I don't know. I'm not as they barely, so a push, depending on when you got it, it was 5.5, 6, whatever. Push barely cover against New England. They've been good, but they're definitely not clicking. And I do wonder if there's a little bit of discontent there.
I think there's a little trouble. I definitely
Maybe a
thought
little,
there was
just
some,
a touch.
I definitely thought there was some trouble in paradise there. I mean, for sure, given A.J. Brown's reaction. I would also say, like, not a and I don't like this phrase, so I won't use it. I'm going to see if I can rephrase this. It does not strike me as an ideal way to conduct oneself when you're visibly complaining about getting the ball when your team's winning at that point fairly handily.
No, of course not. But at the same time, like much of this stuff monetarily is tied to bonuses, which are based on touchdowns and catches and yards. And I don't know what's in his contract. Who knows?
And they tried to get him the ball after
they
that.
Did. They hit him for one, and they just had a holding thing. Yeah. They don't look, first 2 games out, they don't look lights outy.
They were better handing the ball off to DeAndre Swift than they were doing anything else last night.
Yeah.
Now, they were able to hit the 2 shot plays to Devontae Smith, who I think is a stud. They're not really even getting Goddard going, even though they throw him the ball a lot. They should be. Honestly, they should use Goddard the exact same way that Minnesota uses Hawkinson. I don't understand why they don't. I mean, he's got those skills, and he's actually kind of even physically a little bit bigger. I know they were a little bit banged up on their defense in this one, but Cousins is good, man. If they don't turn the ball over, they're
2 weeks in a row.
They're good, and I know I'm sure you've seen the stuff that was said to Madison on his DMs.
Oh yeah,
like come on, people.
People are morons. People are the worst.
Be better.
They're the worst.
Completely unacceptable.
Minnesota was 7-0 in 1-score games a year ago, 0-2 so far this year.
Well, yeah, it's called regression to the mean.
Last thing on the game last night. Justin Jefferson is unguardable.
Unguardable.
He catches everything. They threw it to him 13 times. He caught 11.
That's right.
For just under 160. He is unguardable. If it's near him, he catches it. For someone who it doesn't have, like, usually when you think of the most dominant receivers that we've had in recent years, usually it's a Moss, Calvin Johnson body type, like it's a 6'4". Julio Jones had that for a while, where it was just this big physicality, or it's like Tyreek Hill and he's shot out of a cannon, he's just faster than everybody else. Like Justin Jefferson is just like a professional wide receiver.
He's just the best.
And he's just the best.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
Yeah, he's really good. It's fun to watch. I'm curious at the value of the chain that got obviously yanked off in the middle of the game that he then threw
What's
to
your
the
number
sideline.
on that? What's the first number that come in your
5
head?
figures? Yeah, 25,000.
That's fine. I was going to go 25K.
Yeah.
To me, it felt like 25K.
I mean, he picked up. It looked hefty. Whatever he
It was.
picked up
It was
and threw.
heavy enough that he could throw it from the hash
to the side.
To the sideline.
Right.
So there's a lot of weight to it at that point. Now the question is, how's it made? Are the jewels intact? Did any come out?
I would have been nervous to throw it.
Well, for sure, but you know,
it's amazing
he doesn't have his contract
What's
yet.
wild though is to play in that.
Right. Who was the one who got in trouble?
Crabtree.
They snatched it.
Wasn't that Aqib Talib? Was it Aqib Talib?
No, it was Aqib Talib. Yeah, he just took it.
Snatched it. Snatched his
Good
chain.
luck getting it back from him.
Not,
if the reputation is correct.
Never lost.
No, never lost.
Kirk Cousins, impressive. I'm starting a campaign right now.
Yeah.
You want to join me in this?
I don't know. I'll wait till you hear what it is.
Well, actually, I don't like the campaign. Never mind. I take it back. But this, I think, is something we need to be concerned about. I'll phrase it that way.
All right.
Not a campaign, not advocating for it, but I think something.
I got my pen out.
Something to be concerned about. They're 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
They're not. The Vikings are not a serious contender.
No. Fair.
At what point does Kwesi, who probably is thinking about this in a very
I know where you're
wise and big picture way, say, okay, it's not going our way. It's not going to happen this year.
Yep.
We got a tank.
Mm-hmm.
We are way too good to tank with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. Let's send him to the Jets.
All right. Here are the only hiccups here, right? Number one, the Jets can't trade this year's first or second because they're already accounted for Green Bay.
Don't you think they could be like some type of a wink, whatever, nod, future considerations?
I don't know, right?
Like they should be able to trade that pick.
Of course they should be able to. It's going to be the second round pick. They should be able to trade their one.
You should at the minimum be able to say we will trade you our first or our second, whichever pick is available.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the bigger reason why. That's a reason.
They have the money
why
because
it won't
of what
happen.
Rodgers did with the cap space this year.
Right. That's the number one reason it won't happen because I just don't think it can per NFL rules. The number two is 18. 18 ain't going to want to deal with whoever the backup is. Justin Jefferson's not out there running routes for somebody who isn't Kirk Cousins in a contract year.
I don't even know who it is. Is it Nick Mullins?
If you say so. Kwesi's got.
Yeah, but you got
it makes sense. But like
you say, hey, we're
they've
gonna
got
get
the best
you-
position player in the league, the best offensive position player in the league, and you cannot have him running routes for somebody who's not accurate.
It is Nick Mullins.
Mullins, yeah, there's no way. There's no way. If you're Kwesi, you got to.
Well, you sign him before you do
You
that.
have to keep him. You could do that.
You
Give
sign him
the
before you
monster
do it.
extension. Do it before you
Send
do it.
and you say, look, now we're going to go
We're gonna
draft,
do
or
this.
this becomes a real attractive parachute position.
I think
people want to come play with
the
him.
third reason it won't happen is the NFC. Like they won't. They're not really out of it until they're. You pick up the 10th loss.
Probably true
in the NFC, but yeah, they are. The Jets could do something. They cannot go with Zach Wilson from here on out. There's just no way.
No,
there's no way. All right, we will. We will.
Jacoby Brissett is the answer.
You know what?
Is the most
several people have said that.
reasonable
You said
answer.
it right away. I heard Mina Kimes say that on ESPN. I've heard a lot of people say that's the way to do it. Is to go that he's the one that people don't realize. He's a 2-to-1 touchdown to interception. Scoop him up.
He won't lose you games.
He won't lose your game. You'll be plenty good
Yes.
to get through the season and make a run at the postseason. Browns fans, avocados from Peru will be at the Avon Meyer today, 1-3. Stop by to enter the Ultimate Football Sweepstakes. Your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning electric truck. Play games, win prizes. Meets Kevin Mack, of course, as well. For more information, visit the Cleveland Browns Facebook page, and you will find it there. We'll do a little our defense versus the Steelers offense matchup coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Furry friend, have what it takes to beat out the competition. Enter the dog race sweepstakes presented by Milkbone for a chance to have your pup compete in the annual halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/contest to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocer or pet supply store. Time for a look at our defense versus the Steelers offense. For the matchup, we go to Dr. Z.
All right, kids. Browns D. Can you say suffocating? Can you say stifling? Can you say dominant?
Yes.
That's what they were. Week 1, Browns defense gives up 3 points. They give up 142 yards of offense, 67 net passing yards. They hold the Bengals to 2 of 15 on third down, 0 of 1 on fourth down. They never even let them in the red zone. If they had a molto bene read, never got to say it in week 1 on the Bengals radio network. Sad. We did many times. This is a very good defense. Zadarius Smith, Myles Garrett, Dalvin Tomlinson, Shelby Harris. Hopefully he is good to go. Obo Okoronkwo got his first sack as a member of the Browns. He now has 6 sacks in his last 8 games in the National Football League. We will be pressure-oriented up front. The matchup, not great for their offensive line. They have one new starter, Isaac Seumalo, and he was the big signing from Philly. Last year only gave up 1 sack, gave up 2 pressures week 1. Dan Moore Jr., the left tackle, 4th-round pick in 2021, he gave up a sack and 9 pressures week 1. Last year he gave up 7 sacks and 39 pressures. Their right tackle, Chukwuma Okorafor. There it is. Chukwuma Okorafor. Gave up 41 pressures last year and 3 sacks. 41 pressures were the most on the team. And then they've got James Daniels at guard, a Warren, Ohio product, as well as Mason Cole at center. I think that the Browns can overwhelm this offensive line, and I think that that's what they will look to do up front. When they're throwing the football, Kenny Pickett is the signal caller. Last year, 63% completion, 7 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 6.2 yards per attempt, and a 76 rating. Week 1, 31 of 46, 67% for only 232 yards. 5 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 5 times, had a rating of 68.4. In fact, they had 5 3-and-outs to start that game. They're going to have to do this without their leading receiver in each of the last 2 seasons, Deontay Johnson, but they still are dangerous. George Pickens, last year, 52 catches, 801 yards, 4 touchdowns, 15.4 yards per catch. Week 1, 5 catches, 36 yards, long reception of only 9 yards. They also have the veteran Allen Robinson, a former Pro Bowler in 2015. He had 3 1,000-yard seasons. He actually led the team with 8 targets, 5 catches, and 64 yards in Week 1. Now, he has not been over 450 yards receiving since 2021. I'm sorry, since 2020. That was his last 1,000-yard season. The last 2 after that, 21 and 22, very little production. They've got a very good tight end, Pat Freiermuth. He had a touchdown in Week 1. Last year against the Browns, he had 11 catches for 170 yards and a touchdown in those games. Good player, coming off a career year where he had 63 catches, 732 yards, and 2 scores. This is not an explosive offense by any stretch of the imagination, and I've left out the one guy that I'm going to talk about in a second. Not the most explosive offense, but it is a very talented offense. Very talented offense because of those guys at the skill. Pickens, Robinson, Freiermuth. And then they've got Najee Harris. Najee Harris, Week 1, only 6 carries, 31 yards. They had the fewest rushing attempts in the NFL in Week 1 to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Last year, though, 1,034 yards, under 4 yards a carry, 7 touchdowns, 41 catches, 229 yards, another 3 touchdowns. He's produced at least 10 total touchdowns in each of his first 2 seasons and over 1,000 total yards in each of his first 2 seasons, right around 1,400 total yards and 10 touchdowns, what he averages per year. As he goes against the Cleveland Browns, so do the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's how they go against the Cleveland Browns. Najee Harris has a rushing touchdown in all 4 career games against the Browns. He had a career-high 188 yards rushing against the Browns at the end of the 21 season. He's got 80-plus and a touchdown in 3 of the 4 games against the Browns. They are 3-0 in those games. When he's held under 80 yards rushing, the Browns have defeated him. That was 37 yards that he had. 56 yards that he had in Week 3 of last year against the Browns. So you look at it, his 88 rushing yards against the Browns, that was his career high. His 37-yard touchdown run against the Browns in that very same game, that was his career long. He's the first Steeler to ever have 1,000 yards in each of his first 2 seasons. They will get him going, I would imagine. But right now, you listen to talk out of Pittsburgh, nobody's happy. They're not happy with Matt Canada. Since he's taken over as the offensive coordinator in 2021, They're averaging 18.8 points per game. That is 27th in the NFL. 4.9 yards per play, 31st in the NFL. 6.2 yards per pass attempt, 31st in the NFL. So this is not a team that has been great.
No.
On the offensive side of the ball. They have been very good on the defensive side of the ball. I think this is a game the Browns defense can come out and dominate again.
I like it. I like where your head's at.
That's what it is, man. That's what it is. You got to be able to go out, get pressure on him. Kenny Pickett, by the way, did you know this?
Tell me.
Guess the stats. What's his highest quarterback rating in a single game in his whole career?
Did he have one at 90?
90.9 at Atlanta in 2022. No games. Take a bow. No games with a 100 quarterback rating at all.
That's what I kept saying. Like, I didn't understand all offs. Like, was this just about what he was in the preseason? That's it? We're expecting this greatness out of him based on what he was in the preseason? There was nothing special about his play last year.
Nothing.
Now, he had some clutch moments.
Clutch, yeah.
You tip your hat on that. He had some clutch moments. But there was nothing that you were like, well, that's why they're winning.
No,
That's
it
the
wasn't even
operation.
over 200 yards in a lot of those games. He'd have a drive at the end
You'd
of the
have a drive.
game
You'd have a
where
clutch
he
drive,
was
yeah.
able to put it together. But for the most part, this is not a team that's thrown the ball particularly well. They were last in the NFL in passing touchdowns a year ago. They had one passing touchdown in this very first game, which was the end of the first half, that little short one to Freiermuth, a 3-yarder. That's it. No, this is not a great offense. This is not a talented – it's not for a lack of talent. I don't think their scheme is great. You look at they had only play action on 5.9%. I think a lot of that has to do with game flow.
Chasing,
last week.
yeah.
They're chasing, so play action really doesn't have a ton to do with it. They will use motion, but they allow a lot of pressure, and their quarterback is not the most mobile and does not have the strongest arm. I feel like the Browns are definitely the better team here, and they just need to go out there and be that.
Yeah, it's like if it doesn't go our way, it's a bunch of strange things happened because you did the offense, we did our offense versus their defense. The loss of Cam Hayward is an enormously massive loss.
Massive.
It's the difference between he's there and when he's not in a run game perspective, it's just otherworldly. So he's not there. Deontay Johnson not there on the outside makes that part of it easier. And what they are up front, or rather what they are not up front, plays in perfectly to the fact that we have one of the best defensive lines in all of football. Look what San Francisco did a week ago.
You're exactly right.
It's the same operation.
Same operation.
Like you can play Renegade, you can do all that stuff, but in the end, it's the guys between the lines.
It's talent, baby.
Yeah.
It's talent.
It's the Jimmies and Joes, and we got really good ones.
We got great ones. Beautiful ones.
Beautiful. So there you go. There's your matchup, the Browns defense versus that Steelers offense. And, of course, presented today by Avocados from Peru. Stop by the Avon Meyer location today until 3 to register, win that 2023 Ford Lightning electric truck. Chris Rose will join us coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, coming soon to Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Family-owned and operated Rumpke Waste Recycling has grown to become one of the largest waste and recycling companies in the United States. Proud to be recycler of choice for the city of Cleveland. Visit Rumpke.com to learn more. As we head out on the Twisted Room, play-by-play announcer and NFL Network host Chris Rose joining us on the Twisted Tea hotline. We're going to have a lot of fun along the way, but obviously these are emotional times for everybody, and certainly with the radio network. We saw the emotional words from Jim Donovan. We've seen it from our team. Chris, just from your perspective, how this came about and the job of filling in for the great Jim Donovan.
First of all, guys, thanks for having me. So I'm going to be honest with you. I wish I wasn't doing this because it would mean that Jim was healthy and well enough to be in there, and we all hope that happens really soon. I mean, listen, I've been a Browns fan my entire life, ever since I was 5 years old. And in the early to mid 80s, I used to sit with my older brother Pete, and we used to practice calling Browns games. We loved listening to the legendary Nev Chandler call the Browns games on the radios. And during that time in the 80s, when we won 5 division titles, that's the voice of my childhood. I know how important Jim is to not only the Browns community, but the city of Cleveland. And the biggest compliment, I've said this several times, the biggest compliment I can pay him is that people have no idea that he's not from Cleveland.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you hear the name Jim Donovan, you hear him do his job, and you're like, oh, where'd he grow up? East Side, West Side? No, he's not from here. And that's the biggest tip of the cap I can give to him. I wish, like I said, I mean, I'm really appreciative of the Browns thinking of me during this time because somebody has to do it, right?
Yeah.
But it's not what any of us want, and I'm in that boat. I don't want to be doing this because it means that Jim can't be there for all the wrong reasons. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm preparing the best I can. I'm looking forward to working with Nathan and Gerard and the entire team. But it's a strange situation from that standpoint. It's something that I always wanted to do, but unfortunately, these are the circumstances.
It is, and everybody's hearts and thoughts are obviously with Jim, and now I'm excited to get in there with you Monday night. Browns Steelers, a chance to exercise a lot of demons. Chris, the Browns have not won a regular season game in Pittsburgh since 2003. They're trying to go 2-0 for the first time since 1993. I mean, some of these numbers. I said this to MJ Emerson yesterday. I told him that. His brain almost fell out of the back of his head.
Good.
He was kind of like,
it's not his burden.
What do you mean? He's
right.
He's like, we have got to take care of this. But what are you looking forward to? Browns, Steelers, getting ready for this game on Monday night.
Everything. I mean, I can't wait. It's been a while since we've been a favorite.
Yep.
34 years, I believe, in that building. And it's really weird. I've always explained this to you guys. I've said it several times. The Clevelanders are 90% scar tissue.
Yep.
We're always looking around the next corner to see what bus is about to hit us. And I don't feel that way going into Monday's game. Where are they significantly better than the Cleveland Browns? I don't see it. So there is no reason why, if the Browns play a good, clean football game, it's turnovers that can mess up the whole thing, of course. Short fields, things of that nature. But the Browns played at such a high level on Sunday. I actually thought on both sides of the ball through that rain that I feel really confident going into Monday. And it's a weird thing sometimes, but I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, Chris, when's the last time you've been over, or have you ever been over there for a night game? I'm sure you have at some point, right?
No, I haven't been there, period. The only time I've been inside that building was for the 2006 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, where there was a party before the All-Star Game festivities over there. Because I work every Sunday.
Sure.
So I'm never there. It's weird, but the only football game I usually attend during the season or during the postseason is the Super Bowl, because I'm just in the studio, locked there for I mean, like last year, I did have a chance to go to the Browns-Ravens game, a game that was on NFL Network. So occasionally I'll go do things of that nature, but I had never made it to Pittsburgh. I know Nathan has already warned me about it. It's a great atmosphere.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. It's going to be something special. With those shiny white helmets on Monday night,
Oh,
I
man.
cannot wait for that either.
Yeah, I mean, I asked because so I think about this from your perspective, and I mean, you've had one of the coolest jobs in life, right? It's an incredible run that you've had, but to be able to call a Browns game in Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football, where the last time we were a favorite over there was 1989, and you won 51-0. Like this is pretty damn cool, man, for little Chris Rose from Cleveland.
I mean, I remember exactly where I was during that.
I bet you do.
Game. I was. Oh yeah. I mean, that was Bud Carson's first game as head coach, and we scored it felt like 7 defensive touchdowns, to be honest with you. And it was a great day, and I was like, oh my God, what a laugher! Like this thing was over after the first quarter, and like I said, I'm so excited just to get there and feel the energy and be a part of this. And I thought last year was going to be the year where we started 2-0, for the first time since '93. I think it's only happened twice since 1980, and '89 was the other year that it happened. That was the last time we won the division, and it wasn't even called the AFC North. I mean, it was the AFC Central that we were winning. So this is all kind of taking me back to my youth a little bit.
Yeah.
So forgive me Monday night on Nathan. I apologize already if I start bringing up stuff from the 80s.
Hey, there's a lot of nostalgia around this matchup and the Browns and the Steelers. And you mentioned you kind of liked what you liked the way we match up with them as you were kind of going through some of your prep. Was there anything that jumped out to you where you felt like, okay, this is where the Browns have an advantage either offensively or defensively?
Well, guys, we saw it during the preseason. Even without Miles taking a single snap, we could kind of get a feeling of what this defensive line would be about. And, to add the significant number of faces that we did, I mean, you don't think that Minnesota last night could have used Dalvin Tomlinson and Zadarius Smith when they were taking on the Eagles? Of course, could have. But now they're ours. And that is, Cincinnati's offensive line is better than Pittsburgh's. So this will be really interesting. Now, we get it. Mike Tomlin teams are tough. He doesn't get embarrassed very often. I know he was embarrassed last week with a 30-7 loss. He's had, I believe, 12 games where his team has lost by 20 or more points. The next time out, they're 10-2. So they know how to rebound.
Yep.
But man, I love our defense, how fast it is, how much emotion it played with last week. The secondary, that triumvirate of cornerbacks is as good as any threesome in the NFL, and I cannot wait to see it in person going full bore.
Yeah, Chris, for me, it's not even as much about Pittsburgh and all of that. It's that I don't know if it's fully appreciated how dominant this team was here last Sunday. That's the Burrow Bengals, and they pushed in the chips in the middle of the fourth quarter. He didn't throw for 100 yards. T. Higgins did not catch a pass. Now, the weather was bad, but it was bad for both teams. And just the dominant nature of the defense, I don't know if it's gotten quite enough attention this week. Even from I've heard from the Cincinnati people this week, whether it's Jamar Chase or Burrow or everybody, like, oh, it's just one game. We're fine. No big deal. And they probably will be. They've earned that.
Yes.
They've earned that
Sure.
to be that. But also, that was a dominant display. We've heard a lot about what Dallas did. We've heard a lot about what the 49ers did over in Pittsburgh, obviously. This is right there, is it not?
Yeah, I think that part of the reason that the Browns did not get the national recognition that we thought we would get and that we deserve is because Joe Burrow does not have a good record against the Browns, right? He falls to 1-5 now. So everybody goes, oh, well, they just have his number. But you have to really watch the game because our defense dominated unlike it has in games past against Burrow. I mean, he still put up some gaudy numbers against us in the past. Last week was a joke. I mean, it was domination. I get it. He didn't take another preseason snap per usual. I get it that he's still not 100% with that calf and can't get outside the pocket the way that he likes to extend plays sometimes. But man, that's in part because of the Browns defense. And for everybody who's concerned about why we're not getting the attention we deserve, we'll get it. If we win Monday night in Pittsburgh, a team that's got a 20-game home winning streak on Monday Night Football, you guys know the last team to beat them? It was the Giants in 1991 when our old friend Matt Barr connected on a last-second field goal to help the Giants and Jeff Hostetler win against Neil O'Donnell and the Steelers.
Jeez, those names.
It's crazy. They're 29-5 all time
the
at
Matt
home.
Barr single,
it's crazy.
Yeah, the single ring face mask.
Sure, it's a beaut.
Of course.
Yeah.
Just all face in that helmet.
I mean, those names would mean
So,
nothing
you know,
to
I mean,
anybody on our team. Zero.
This is a big
That's what's
deal,
crazy.
though, for us. This is a real big deal.
Yeah. Steelers are tough. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. You mentioned with our defense, offensively, it felt like we were just starting to scratch the surface in that one. Obviously left some plays out there. This is a very tough defense led by T.J. Watt, who's a half a sack away from becoming the Steelers' all-time franchise leader in that category. They got Highsmith as well. What do you want to see out of this offense, Chris? What are you hoping to see from Deshaun Watson here on Monday Night Football, where he's been very good in primetime throughout his career?
I'll be curious if we really go in between the tackles with no Cam Hayward. I mean, He is such a pain, such a good player, and they've got some young talent there. I mean, I was a fan of Keanu Benton, second rounder out of Wisconsin when he was coming out. He's going to have to get a lot more snaps this week. DeMarvin Leal was always an interesting kid when he came out of Texas A&M. He's getting more and more burned with them. But I think between the tackles is going to be our strength, right? Run behind our guards and our center. Stay away from those monsters on the edge. And also not put our tackles in a susceptible position, because T.J. Watt and Alex Highsmith can be game wreckers. I just mentioned to you that the one thing that can even out a talent disparity is forced turnovers. And T.J. Watt, we even saw him do it last week. It's just the Niners had such a big lead that it didn't matter that he was getting 3 sacks and forced fumbles and things like that. If it's a 10-7 game and he's doing it, it's a different story. So that's, those two guys scare me. But other than that, I mean, Patrick Peterson's a 33-year-old corner, man.
Yeah.
They should be eating him alive.
It should be going to be a fun one on Monday night, pal. Have some fun with the call. I know that you will. That's a really, really cool thing that's happening. It's great having you on. Thank you for your time today on this fine Friday.
Always look forward to it. Nathan, I'll catch you Monday night, bud.
I can't wait, man. Can't wait to see you.
Thanks as always, and thanks for the help and the support. I do always appreciate it. I'll take
of course,
that lightly,
man.
my friend. Take care,
Listen,
guys.
Love you. Let's go.
Yeah, he's great. He's doing a great job. Interim play-by-play announcer, NFL Network host, Clevelander Chris Rose on the call on Monday. An interesting last 24 hours or so for a former, Gold Jacket member who is at the forefront of the football world. We'll get to that coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. The Cleveland Browns, avocados from Peru and Meyer want you to enter the Ultimate Football Sweepstakes for your chance to win a 2023 Ford Lightning electric pickup, a VIP tour of Cross Country Mortgage Campus, and a $1,000 Meyer gift card. Visit your local Meyer or clevelandbrowns.com/avocados to find a winner there.
Peru.
Last year,
Peace.
this is one of the biggest stories in sports at the moment.
Yeah.
Last year, the Colorado football team was the worst Power 5 football team in the country. They went 1-11.
In the nation,
They were
yes.
wildly incompetent on every level. There were 8 people at their home games. They hire Deion Sanders. They sell out their spring game. They spring an upset in week 1 at TCU, the national runner-up from a year ago.
Yep.
They beat the brakes off of former rival Nebraska in a home game. They have this week, College Game Day is there. Fox Big Noon Kickoff is there. Now you say, well, so what? Well, here's what's so what. To my recollection, this is the first time that Fox's Big Noon Kickoff is at a game that is not on Fox. They play at 10 o'clock at night on ESPN against Colorado State.
Yeah.
This is not a Fox game. Fox Big Noon Kickoff goes to wherever the Big Noon game is. So the Big Noon game tomorrow is Penn State, Illinois. So in all the other years of
That's where they
Fox's
would
Big
be.
Noon Kickoff, if they travel, they go to their game. They are not – game day goes to the biggest game of the week.
Yep.
Fox goes to promote their entity. So they are going to Boulder to promote something that is not on their air, that in fact, not only is it not on air, it doesn't even start for another 8 hours by the time they're on air.
That's wild.
So that gets you know where they are.
McAfee is there live.
Pat McAfee's show is there. Stephen A. is there today. This
Skip?
is all Coach Prime. Well, no, but probably the guy who calls Stephen A. Skip is there. I'm sure he's there. Yeah. Didn't you say The Rock was there?
The Rock was on McAfee today in Boulder.
In Boulder.
Yes.
Pat McAfee's show lineup today. At 12:05, Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
At 1:05, The Rock on site.
Sad that they had to
At
lose.
2:10, it's happening right now. Aaron Rodgers live via FaceTime.
Yeah. Well, that's his.
It's a nice little program.
Yeah, I mean he had Saban on the other day. You had Saban.
It's
He had
no
Saban on
scores,
every
but,
week.
You know.
Yeah, it's crazy. So anyway, and by the way, it's a great place to be this time of year. It's gorgeous. You fly into Denver, you drive up to Boulder, no losers.
Nobody loses.
So except for Jay Norvell. Now we're doing an NFL show here. I don't expect anyone in the audience outside of someone who went to Colorado State to know who Jay Norvell is. You probably don't. He's the head coach at Colorado State. He is a.
Has he been there for a long time?
No, he's in his second season. He played at Iowa in the mid-'80s, had a cup of coffee in the NFL, was a safety at Iowa, all Big Ten safety at Iowa. He's been at Colorado State. This is his second year. Last year, I think he went 3-9.
Okay.
And he's 0-1 on the season this year. So he's not
3-10.
Not crushing it. So he has his coach's show this was Wednesday was his coach's show. So he has a coach's show. And on the coach's show, he says he's like at a restaurant, which, by the way, as a quick aside, I don't know if you saw the video of Nick Saban taking a phone call at his coach's show. The idea that Nick Saban, who makes $11 million a year and is the most powerful man in the state of Alabama, the idea that he goes to a restaurant and sits down with the crowd of people who are just sitting there eating in front of him and then takes calls from people. And he took a call yesterday from a guy named Pee-wee, and he says, Pee-wee, I was looking forward to your phone call. And he's so used, Pee-wee gets to talk to him every week. He's so used to it that he answers Pee-wee's question before Pee-wee can ask it. Pee-wee has access to Nick Saban. Can you imagine in Boston if Belichick sat at a restaurant and allowed Pee-wees to call in and ask him questions about what happened in the game?
Yeah,
but that's college football.
Closest we've ever been to that is when Freddie Kitchens joined us at the Grindstone.
Unbelievable.
First and only time
One
a
and
coach
only,
has
but it
been
was fun.
on site for
That
a
was fun.
promote. It was amazing.
It was very, very fun.
great. Fond memories.
Yes.
The
So,
hammer.
These coaches' shows are part of it. Norvell's on his coach's show, and he goes, I take off my hat and glasses when I talk to adults because that's how my mom taught me.
Yeah.
That's how I was raised. And then all of a sudden, of course, the internet goes nuts. They're like, actually, Coach, here's 1,000 pictures of you with your visor on. So does a visor not a hat? So Everything that is happening at Colorado this year is on camera. Everything. Okay? This was Deion Sanders yesterday at the end of practice in Boulder.
Beautiful day, ain't it? Yes, sir. I'm minding my own business, watching some film, trying to get ready, trying to get out here and be the best coach I could be. And I look up and I read some bull junk that Dan said about us. Talk to us. Once again, talk to us. Why would you want to talk about us when we don't talk about nobody? All we do is go out here, work our butts off, and do our job on Saturday. Yes, but when they give us ammunition, they done messed around and made it what? It was just going to be a good game. They done messed around and made it personal. It was going to be a great test, a battle of Colorado, but they done messed around and made it personal.
I mean, so the idea that he's got somebody ready to say, talk to us.
Oh, it's
the
amazing.
idea that he knows that when he breaks, they're ready with personal.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. So this morning, they take it a step further. They have a team meeting this morning in Boulder. And again, everything's on camera. So they're in this team meeting, and Prime has his equipment people show up with what? Sunglasses.
For everybody.
For the whole
Gold
team.
sunglasses.
Gold sunglasses for the whole team, which now, by the way, is not an NCAA violation. Used to be, not anymore. So that's what he's done.
It's unbelievable. I love it. I love it. When's their biggest? And then the guy
there you
in
go.
Oregon's already started to talk a little trash,
I'm
right?
glad you brought this up.
Yeah.
That video is from 6 months ago.
What?
Yeah. It's being repurposed today on the internet as if it happened this week. They play Oregon next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Dan Lanning. I haven't been able to suss this out to the point where I know exactly when it's from, but it's definitely from last spring. It's
pre-Dion.
I don't know if it was pre-Dion or
Immediately
but
post.
before anybody realized
what
he was up to. And Lanning is asked because Colorado was constantly flirting with about leaving the Pac-12. And his point of reference is that. And so he's like, what if they won? I don't care. They can go wherever they want to go.
They've never done anything in the
They haven't
Pac-12.
anything in the Pac-12. They can go wherever they want to go.
Yeah.
But it's being presented today on social as if it was something that was asked of him this
week. That's what I thought.
And right. You're a smart guy. But so imagine people who aren't as smart as you being duped all week long going, this guy's talking smack he doesn't even play Colorado.
Well, the
this
way
week.
that the video was presented to me, and I don't even remember where I saw it on my timeline, but it was presented as video, and then they go to Oregon next week, right?
Yeah. They're at Oregon
Colorado's
next week.
at Oregon next week. Yeah. Like basically, like this guy's done messed up.
Yeah, but no, it has nothing. They don't have anything now. That won't stop Dion.
Of course
from
not.
using it. Last week against Nebraska, Shedeur Sanders' kid found some sort of slight that Matt Rule had made against Dion. There's no evidence of it anywhere that it ever
Doesn't
took
matter.
place. And
Michael
in fact,
Jordan had plenty
They
of
took a
made-up
timeout.
slights.
Colorado took a timeout at the end of the game because the students were going to storm the field last week. Colorado took a timeout. They had to amputate 2 toes off of his foot. So it's hard for him to get around. He didn't want to get bombed by people. So they took a timeout so he could get off to the side of the field before everybody ran on. Matt Rule ran over and hugged him just so it would be easier so that he wouldn't have to walk across.
Yeah.
And yet didn't stop Shedeur from thinking it was personal. So
I
they'll sell this as if
All right.
this was something that happened this week, but it didn't.
Are you using this with Bootsy? Is this going to be part of your practice with Bootsy?
That
Say
he
that
finishes
the
sentences?
other team said
Or
something right, and then he's going to be like, talk
perceived
to us. He's
slights.
going to be like, talk to us.
Talk to us.
Talk to us. And then
Yeah.
you're going to go through it, and then when you pause, he's going to be like, personal. Like you're going to make up something about, the little
I need to
the
ch-
team
maybe
from
I will try to do
2
that.
towns over.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
said this is what they said about us.
This is what they said, and they made it personal.
On every level.
On every level. I am going to do. I've also started doing I am power ranking the children now.
I like it.
My favorites
Yep.
1, 2, 3, like Coach Prime. So there's a whiteboard.
It's
and
in the house.
Yeah.
What are the current?
It's a whiteboard, and
I know
Is
it.
anyone in the car?
If it's on a whiteboard, isn't it out there for them to see?
No, they'll see it when they get home. They'll see where their rankings are when they get home.
All right, hold on. Can I?
Yep, that's your 1 seed.
But I think what you're going to do for the sake of your own sanity is go like that. Because if you throw him 3, it could unleash that juice might not be worth the squeeze for you.
Well,
because you want me to be 3? You want to see 3?
You want to see what that's all
You want
about?
to see last?
Actually, he might go straight to tears if he was 3.
That's why I
That
don't
might
think
be
you can
straight-
do it.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna be what you're gonna do is you're gonna pull the true 2 away. And
Yeah.
say, listen, you're actually not 3.
Yeah, you're 2.
but you're
distant 2.
You're the eldest.
Yeah.
So you're fine.
Distant
Yeah.
2.
Distant.
Yeah, that's where you are at this point.
Take a look at this kid over here. See how easy he is.
Look at this.
Do that.
Nothing.
You see that?
Can we just do
Nothing.
more of this?
More of that.
It scores, kids.
Oh,
Pay attention.
gosh. Hold on. I feel like I need to be wearing like a flame retardant suit to be
baby.
near you.
Oh,
so
mama.
hot.
Oh, mama.
Like
Gonna
Hansel's
get a hot
so
tub.
hot right now.
The score's coming your way next. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland.
To it.
Oh, does your furry friend have what it takes to beat out the competition? Enter the dog race sweepstakes presented by Milkbone. A chance to have your pup compete at the halftime dog races. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/contest to enter and check out more from Milkbone at your local grocery or pet supply store.
I feel like Asa has got some talent. She could be fast, and especially if I was standing at the other end with food, we'd be good. But I've otherwise disposed of the game, so she's not going to get a chance to run.
I feel like her stride would be a problem against, say, Buddy Garrity.
Yeah, she's got to run. There's got to be size.
There's got to be weight divisions, size divisions, leg length,
which has not
divisions.
been the case in the past.
They just let him go. Hello, Gibbon.
Well,
It's been a lot of wiener dogs only.
Yeah, it's usually been the
wiener dogs only.
Yeah,
they've been wiener dog.
Like, this is a first.
Yeah.
So now we're opening it up.
Yeah,
feels like it. Sounds like it. Are you okay over there? I feel like you're me.
I feel like
you're like me from a week ago.
Yeah,
I think it's just my allergies.
I don't know about that.
Sleeping with the windows open at 45 degrees last night. Probably not the greatest decision.
Oh, that's the best way to live right there. You gotta love that.
I would think,
way to get a cold.
but today my body, my
head's
head's like, hey, dummy. Probably not the greatest decision.
He's thirsty.
He's thirsty, dummy. Hey, what are you gonna do with 440 cases of Coors? He's thirsty, dummy.
All right, before we get going, folks, what I'd like to know is, would you have been pleased if last week, we went 9-7? And the answer would be yes. And that's what
winners,
I did.
winners,
And I
chicken
was
dinner.
pleased.
Yeah.
But what would you be elated / indebted, really, hopefully, to the great Bo Bishop?
Oh, baby.
Who went 14-2.
Oh, gosh.
14-2. The lone blemishes on your record, the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah.
How did we both do that?
Look at this. And even
the
on Indy, I
Steelers.
even switched it. It was a late switch.
Yeah.
I was going. It's a late switch.
That's it.
That's
Those
it.
are the two.
That and the Steelers.
And that's it. Other than that, perfect on every level.
Every level. Unbelievable. I've never got off to a start like this. Usually we
You're
start
12
very
games
well.
over 500. I'm
Yeah,
2
it's-
over 500.
It's,
You're
it's
already
all
up
gravy,
10.
and we're already
You're up
1-0
10.
on the week. So
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're 13 games over 500. I'm at 3.
as we start.
We normally finish around like 40-ish. You're on your way to something unprecedented.
It's going to even out. I mean, you're going to get a
No way.
6-10 this week or something
no,
like that.
no.
I think the pattern
Stay
is
hot,
only.
dude. Stay hot. Arrow's
Yeah.
pointing up.
Yep.
Gibbe believes.
He's a
I do.
believer.
Yeah.
Aaron
Trying to get you a
Rodgers
new vehicle here.
on the
Let's go.
chances of a return on the Pat McAfee show about 10 minutes ago. Give me your doubts and then watch what I do.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm sure that
I'll remind you
all
that
of
you're
the best
closer to my age
Yeah, all
than
the
you
best
are.
intent. But again, he's a man. He's 40.
There's going to be
or he
some
will
science
be.
involved.
Exactly.
So, whatever he can do to play, I believe that he will.
That's right.
Time for the scores.
Then we'll do this all again next time.
Week 2 in the National Football League, and we'll kick things off.
That's a big one.
The Bengals opening their home portion of the 2023 season. They welcome in the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens at Bengals. Bishop, the floor yours.
Well, it's really interesting to me as I was looking at the power rankings and such of everything this week, and people continue to have Baltimore like way up there, and they were a side screen for me. They would pop in on the red zone and stuff, and you go back and look at what they did. They really didn't run it very well. They really didn't throw it very well. They kind of only have Zay Flowers. Gus Edwards will help.
I will say this literally 20 seconds ago from Rap Sheet. Tight end Mark Andrews quad, a full participant today, an indication that while he's still questionable, the plan is for him to play on Sunday.
Yeah, but they're without 2 of their starting offensive linemen. They're without J.K., and including Ronnie Stanley.
Yeah.
They're without Dobbins, and they're without Marcus Williams, who's their best back-end
Pretty
defender.
good.
And T. Higgins
Humphreys
didn't
is
catch a
still
ball
out.
last week because he played against our secondary. Bengals, 90. Baltimore, 2.
Slumptown, USA,
Slumptown.
population. Well, who would be living in Slumptown? The Slumpy or the Slumper?
I know.
Probably the slumper.
The person who was slumped.
No, the person
who-
being slumped.
Yes. Population, Ravens.
Yep.
Bengals by 1 billion. Huge.
Up next, candidate for the inmate game of the week, the Chicago Bears visiting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield v. Justin Fields. Nathan Zagura.
I have no interest in taking the Bears in any capacity until they've got to earn it back Baker's talking. He's chesty. He's
ripped,
front running.
chesty.
They're loving it down
Yep.
there. They're buying in Tampa Bay. I think the Bengals, this could be a 12-0 type of a game. Bucks, big.
Yeah, Chicago's got huge problems. Justin Fields was not great, and that's putting it pretty mildly.
That was very kind.
But also the play calling was atrocious. They have a
Awful.
wide receiver who doesn't try, who may be inactive. Bucks, big, huge. Go Bake. 6. Let's go. Right again.
To the NFC we go, and a game that bears watching here in the early going. The Green Bay Packers. Surprise win? Maybe. Maybe people thought they were going to. An impressive win nonetheless against the Bears, taking on a 1-0 Atlanta Falcons team. Careful here on the number. Atlanta hosting Green Bay. Bo.
Yeah, I just think it's a matter of I think Green Bay's actually a pretty good team. And I don't know if Atlanta can actually throw the ball. Green Bay's got a lot of talent. Sounds like Watson's going to play this week. I got Green Bay by a field goal in this one, 24-21.
Segura.
I like Jesse Bates, obviously big signing for Atlanta, a couple picks last week. I like Bijan. I like Algier. I just think it's hard for me to buy in against. I think Atlanta against equal or inferior competition will
like where you're
dominate.
going. Yep.
I think Atlanta against teams that I think are better, they're going to struggle. I think the Packers are better. Packers 24, Falcons 12.
Next.
12 is my number. That's what I give the losing team. 12.
I like that.
12.
My number.
Today
12.
you're getting 12.
12.
You don't want to be getting 12.
No, 12's not good.
Someone's got to win. Maybe they'll tie. Indianapolis, Houston in the AFC South, another candidate for the inmate game of the week. There are a few this week.
This one's
Few
actually fun to
choices.
watch, though.
Couple of rookie
because
QBs.
Yeah, a couple of rookie QBs.
I'll ask you around 4 o'clock if it was
I
good to
like
watch.
Richardson. Mm-hmm. He's good to go, I'm assuming.
So it seems like it, yeah.
Yes.
I like Indy's whole. I think Indy was closer to being ready. The overall roster better than the overall roster of Houston. I like their quarterback as well. I like the Colts here to get the job done. 12-12.
It's good. It's rare that you can do that and it actually works.
It works.
In this instance, you can.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I got it. Just going gut. Houston at home, little bit of motivation.
I'd already put it in. I knew
I'll
you
go
were
Houston
taking
14-12.
C.J. Stroud.
14-12. Yeah.
C.J. Stroud is quarterbacking the Colts. You'd have taken the Colts.
Maybe.
By the way, speaking of Buckeyes, happy birthday S today.
Oh,
S, the great S.
the great S. What's
Yeah.
he doing for his birthday?
48.
Any
Probably
big-
thinking about the Buckeyes. Going to the game tomorrow against Western
Known
Kentucky. Known litterer.
Real
He's
barn
working on
burner
that,
down in
working on
Columbus
that.
tomorrow.
Is he in rehabilitation for that?
I think he's already been through a program.
He's been through a program.
Yeah.
Who wins bigger tomorrow? Ohio State over WKU
Yeah.
or Michigan over my alma mater?
Michigan. Western Kentucky is going to be a full day. They can spin it. They'll throw it 50
That's what I
times.
said. They have a quarterback.
They can throw it. Yeah, they got.
The,
that's where Bailey Zappi played. They can spin it around. The kid against USF in week 1 threw it 50 times.
Are they the Hilltoppers?
They are the Hilltoppers. Yeah,
That's a solid logo.
So
Good
the reason for
basketball
that is the campus is situated on top of a hill.
Poor Gibby.
And the idea was
Snotty.
the reason it was put there is so that you could see the South coming. It was a base for the North, so you could see the South coming. So that's why they're the Hilltoppers.
Like it.
Up next,
Great.
not a candidate for the inmate game of the week. Quite the opposite. Kansas City gets Travis Kelce back and Chris Jones back. The Chiefs.
And Jason confirms.
Did you
last
see
night.
Travis, what he did running out on the field today, sir? Shaking it off, if you will?
No, he did not.
Hysterical.
I love that guy. I love him so much. He's so fun.
Chiefs by $1 billion.
Oh, they're in Jacksonville.
Don't care.
Come on.
Don't care.
One of the
Chiefs-
armpits of America, Jacksonville, Florida.
The Chiefs will win this game.
Oh, you're not going to do it, are you?
They will win this game. Then all of a sudden,
Uh-oh.
is that Mitch Kramer? No! It's
no.
Trevor Lawrence and Calvin Ridley. And they're going to connect for a touchdown late. And you're going to have a final score. Chiefs feeling good about themselves. 31. Jags. Go for 2 and the win at home. Miss it. 31-30. Chiefs.
Boy, that'll be a great game if that happens.
How great would that be? Go for the 2 at home.
Would be great. Is that a 1 o'clock?
Feels like
that's
it's
a
got to
1
be
o'clock.
because you have it so early in the slate here.
Up next, the Buffalo Bills, fresh off that nice little Monday night loss. I don't know how, but still, they end up losing to the Jets. Buffalo opens the home slate of their schedule against the Las Vegas Raiders team that looks like they will not have Jacoby Myers, who is still in concussion protocol, doubtful to play this week.
By the way, how about the fact that they being the Patriots, opted not to sign him? And I realize in the concussion protocol, but had 2 touchdowns last week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
For
nice
Juju
effort.
Smith-Schuster, and now you're getting these reports. People in New England don't even consider Juju Smith-Schuster to be one of their top 5 receivers.
Right.
Like, how do you make that? They signed basically the same contract, 3 years, $33 million.
Yep.
How do you
Correct.
make that mistake?
I don't.
Bill the GM, not great.
Not great.
Not great.
Zagura, lead us.
This one, by the way, has shrunk by a full point in
Yeah.
24 hours.
If the Bills are who they're supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
this is a layup, a slam dunk. And this is what this game would scare me if I had to take my actual, if I was allowed.
If you were allowed
to take my actual dollars there. It feels like it could easily be a slumping. It also feels like this could be the complete unraveling of the Bills. I feel like Stephon Diggs is a powder keg. Allen's turning it over. I think the Bills will ultimately get it done, but I think it's going to be closer than Slumptown. Buffalo, 24. Raiders, 20.
I got the Raiders huge in this one. Raiders 23, Bills 27.
Same.
Interesting.
Samesies.
All right. Next up in the AFC, 2 teams that lost by a combined 3 points in Week 1 in the
I
National
can't quit 'em.
Football League.
I won't.
The
I won't quit 'em.
Tennessee Titans
Can't do it.
playing host to the Los Angeles Chargers.
There's
I can't
nothing in
quit 'em.
this one that makes you say that you should not. This is one of those ones where you're like, what? Like, why is this not bigger? To me, I don't understand it. Like, they go toe-to-toe with the Dolphins.
Right.
It's a last team with the ball situation, and yet they play one of these. Like, Tennessee was wildly incompetent. Like,
Wildly.
everything in my being is saying Tennessee will play well, but I just can't believe it.
I don't wanna do it.
I can't.
No fun.
Chargers, 35. Titans, 20.
Same.
Next, to the NFC we go. One team that met expectations and then some in the Detroit Lions after I feel like they played weeks ago.
They did.
I mean,
Yeah.
they've had a nice little 10 days off since that big win in Kansas City. Detroit opens the home slate against an 0-1 Seattle team, fresh off of getting pummeled by the Los Angeles Rams.
So, Seattle's not that bad. Now, they lost both tackles.
Yep.
They signed Jason Peters. I just think that DK, Lockett, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Kenneth Walker, Zach
In a
Charbonnet.
dome.
In a dome. Good environment. Do they get the win? I don't know. Who's to say? Not me. But do they get close? Oh, baby. I believe that they do. I think it's going to be a fun one. I'm talking 35 for Detroit Motor City. And then the Seahawk wave's going to roll to 33.
Same.
Well, either you're going to go down off of your nice big cushion and still be in a good spot, or I'm going to go down and be in a horrible spot, or we're just both
Are we
going
a lot?
way
We're
up.
picking a lot of the same, are we?
So far, the only difference we have is Houston, Indy.
Oh my gosh.
Way to have it come down to some
You had
quality
Indy, you had a
games. Yep.
difference last week with the Indy thing.
Yep.
Oh, no, you both
I
had
got-
it.
We both had it. We both had that.
Yeah, you
wrong.
both had that.
Yeah.
All right, to the late slate of games. Oh, we got to go.
Oh
Goodness.
It's like the coaches show last week.
Rough game here. Actually, you got it all in. It was fine. You just had long interviews. This is your life. Arizona playing host to the New York
Uno's
Football
trying
Giants.
to talk to us, and he doesn't even have his mic on.
It's fine.
Uno.
We got to go, Uno.
Giants.
Same.
Onward we go to the NFC West. Los Angeles, the Rams 1-0. The 49ers 1-0. 49ers, kind of a big number here.
Yeah, I think that the Niners are as good as it gets, and they just slump people. But I think the Rams, 35 for the Niners, 28 for the Rams.
How dare you doubt us?
We won. What do you mean? I picked us to
Bo,
win,
you're the
Dad.
son I wish I had. Niners by 1 billion.
That's great.
It is good.
First game without the incomparable Aaron Rodgers.
There's
for the New York
what's the
Football
number that
Jets.
would make you take the Jets?
Jets at the Big D, Dallas.
You're not doing it, are you?
15.
Okay, that's where I was at. Dallas, billion.
Like, who in the world, though?
Don't do it to
Don't
yourself.
You, think
You did that
this
last
is gonna
week.
Be
He's talking himself
one-
into it.
You
He
did that
wants
last
to
week.
talk himself.
Believe what is on the paper.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What
It's
percentage
Zach
of dollars
Wilson.
do you think the percentage that are being put on the Jets right now? Isn't it zero
Yeah,
at this
probably.
number?
But what was the one you did that with last week? It was Chicago. You did it with Chicago last week, and I'm like,
Yeah, but
no,
they stink.
one sucks.
That was a 1-point game.
I understand,
This
but
is
like
9.
some teams just suck.
This could be a take the foot off the gas back to. I'm calling Zach Wilson
Oh,
to Garrett
no.
Wilson. It's the Wilson Bros. Wait, that's not it. But it doesn't matter because they're gonna get inside 35-28. Wilson.
boy.
We got to go. Washington at Denver.
Oh God, here's where I caught the rails.
Chase Young's actually eligible. And
Washington
he'll be playing
closer,
this week.
closer. Washington, Denver close. Washington closer.
Broncos country. Let's
Let's
ride
ride.
to Slump
It's all
Town.
gonna get out-
Let's
now
go.
it's where it's getting
No,
nuts.
they're doing it. They're doing
Miami,
it.
New England. Who do
We're
you got?
just switching
Sunday
every-
night
I'm going
football
to
in
Apple.
Pittsburgh. Can't wait
I'm
to
a
watch
big.
it.
I'm a believer in the Dolphins. Dolphins, huge.
Same. All right, there you go. So much more to come. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESP. Please. Fun game down in Columbus tomorrow. They play at 4 o'clock in a game you can listen to right here on KNR. 4 o'clock against Western Kentucky. They're going to spin it. Western Kentucky's going to throw it a little bit, so that'll be a fun game. Good test for the Buckeyes secondary. They are at Notre Dame next week. I think they do fine, but it's like 30. That's too much. Monday's going to be fun. Monday
We have
Night
another
Football.
show to do before this game.
I know it. I like the rhythm of building to a Friday.
And then
I like that, and then we get the game, and then
Monday.
starting anew on Monday. So anytime we have Monday Night Football, it kind of throws me for a loop a little bit.
Agreed.
That it's there. So we've got Joe Hayden, Anthony Walker, Keys to Victory, complete preview of Monday Night Football. For your viewing interest, Bengals-Ravens is pretty good at 1.
Oh, man, I'm going to be
You want to
locked into
see
that one.
what that's all about.
I'm
and
just
what
pumped
those
I got
teams
this.
look like.
I'm going to do my 4 box. I'm ready to go, baby.
Oh,
Not
this
a whole
is-
lot of
this
Sundays
is your
where I get to just be
just soak it in.
Just be a man sitting on his
Just out there
couch.
living it.
Yeah.
That's right.
Can't wait.
Enjoy your football weekend, everybody. We're back Monday to get you set for the Browns and Steelers, the next level. Coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.